Thank you very much, Chairwoman. Ms. Elias, I'd like to talk about plastic waste recycling and where we are on that. We've put considerable effort into plastic waste recycling. A great many Americans have a blue bin that they fill with recyclables to take out there. There's a lot of noise and talk about recycling, and the industry loves to talk up recycling, I think, to help create the general apprehension or the general appearance that plastic gets recycled. But the information that I have is that on the input side, when particularly single-use plastics are being manufactured, 98 or 99% of the input is virgin plastic, leaving less than 2%, maybe only 1%, 1 in 100, to be sourced as recycled plastic. I mean, that rounds basically to zero. So when the plastics industry is manufacturing plastics products, and in this case, particularly single-use plastics, the disposable stuff, it's basically entirely new plastic going in. There's essentially no meaningful recycled contribution. So to me, that's kind of a significant measurement. Now, if you go to the take-up side, the so-called recycling side, the statistics I have are that less than 10% of what actually goes into that blue bin ever gets recycled. It may not be recyclable in the first place because there's not very clear marking as to what plastics are and are not recyclable. And it may very well just end up in a landfill or end up on a container ship, smashed together and packed off to someplace in Asia, where it ends up in a landfill there and maybe after time washed down creeks and into rivers and ultimately into the sea. And at the same time that we have essentially zero recycling input into plastics manufacturing and less than 10% of real recycling in what we consider to be our recycling stream, we are dumping as a world so much plastic into the ocean that we're headed for, as the chairman suggested, if things don't change, there's going to be more waste plastic floating around in the ocean than there are fish swimming around in the ocean by mass. And that's just a rotten thing to do to the planet, and it's a horrible legacy for grandchildren. And it's kind of on us to do something about that, I would think. So I'd like your comment on whether you think, first of all, my facts are right, that we're essentially zero on input, that we're under 10% on real recycling, and the rest of it is kind of performance art to stand up a relatively fake narrative that recycling is real. And at the end of the day, most of this stuff ends up in regular waste streams, and some of that is very irresponsibly done in foreign countries and ends up in oceans. Pretty fair description, and what should we do about it?
Yeah, that's absolutely a fair description, and very much seems to
Are you mic'd?
I might not. Am I mic'd now?
There we go, yes. You're good to go.
Is that good?
Yep.
Thank you. Technology is not my strong suit. But your facts are absolutely right and very much consistent with what we've heard in the past and in conversations with various experts. I'll again reiterate, thank you so much. You and Senator Sullivan, in so many ways, started this conversation in the Senate. With Save Our Seas and Save Our Seas 2.0, your staff has been absolutely amazing. I think we're at a point now where we need to take that next step because of the performance art that you discussed. I think we really need a system like extended producer responsibility as proposed in Senator Merkley's Break Free from Plastic Pollution Act. You're right, there is so much stuff now coming into our homes, and the vast majority of it, 87% of our plastic packaging, is either being landfilled, burned, or leaked into nature. And because of the artificially low prices on virgin plastic materials, we're just going back to the earth to create that next set of materials. And instead of having a circle, the lifespan is actually a line, taking petrochemicals from the earth, turning it into some product, using it and disposing of it. And while any number of these materials are absolutely essential, I think about our masks, I think about our medical equipment, I think about all of the important food-grade plastics that address some of our food insecurity and food waste issues that Secretary Beiser brought up. A lot of it is stuff that we don't want and we don't need, and that is being seen as a growth industry for some of our friends in the plastics industry. We actually commissioned public opinion polling by a great firm, Corona Insights. And what they heard in their conversations with people around the world, it was something like 86% of the public feel like there's just too much stuff coming into their lives, and it's become unavoidable. If you want to buy something, it's going to come in that packaging. You're going to put it in your blue bin, hoping that it'll be recycled, hoping that it'll achieve circularity, and very much knowing that it will not. What's good about the Break Free from Plastics Pollution Act, and I hope will become a discussion topic, this is why it's supported by the American Beverage Association, similar concepts again by Danone, Unilever, and Mars, a number of our other friends, is it sets real standards for recyclability, recovery, and use of recycled content, and then market signals through eco-modulation to shift production and use from materials that can't be recycled, that have a big impact on the environment and on public health, to materials that can feasibly be recycled and really put dollars towards the kind of innovation we need to see to make recycling actually work. I think it's a win-win. There's broad support for it. Industry, when ABA came to us and said, we want every bottle back, we want old bottles to become new bottles, I think they really meant it. And industry is willing to put dollars into the system to have some assurances that they'll have consistent, high-quality access to recycled content going forward. So when you buy your beverage, you buy your snack, you feel good about what's inside of it and what's outside of it. So thank you for the question, and thank you for your incredible leadership.
Well, my time's expired, but I just add as a chemistry note that this stuff doesn't break down back into natural things. It just lives on as plastic indefinitely. Natural stuff breaks down into natural things, and that's part of the cycle of life. Plastic is new to this world, and it doesn't break down in the way the good Lord set up the earth to be able to cycle things. Thank you.
Thank you.